The last session of empowering the export-ready companies in the U.S. supply chain. I would like to invite the panelists, Mr. Prabhu Bala, we have Mr. Sriram, Mr. Mahesh is moderator, and we have Mr. Prashant to come and join. In the meanwhile, I would request Chairman to come on to hand over mementos to two of our silver sponsors, Astro Textiles and Mr. Precision Equipments. May I request the team from Astro Textiles to come and collect your memento as a silver sponsor. Thank you so much for your partnership. Savita. Come and join for a photo. It's okay. Come for a memento to Precision Equipments. Sarvang. Srinar. Memento vagiya channel. Ninga pukku mukana. So I'll hand it over to Mr. Mahesh, moderator for the session. Over to you.
Thank you, Sujata. Good afternoon. A panel discussion at this time is very challenging task for us, considering that this is almost towards the end of the session, and people would start looking at their watches, checking the traffic, all those things. But let us see whether we can make it interesting as much as possible. With that note, our previous discussion has set the stage for this, and we are taking over from there, talking about the tariffs, those things. Our world is crazily spinning now. We are not able to predict what is going to happen tomorrow, whether it is diplomatic decisions or trade wars or geopolitical events. What not to say. So it is all influencing our way of business. Yes, we cannot exactly influence and control all these things, but at the same time, is there any way we can mitigate the impact of this? That is what we are trying to address here through this panel. We have to remember that yes, some of the big business giants will be able to absorb many of these things and still carry on with their day-to-day business. But consider our MSMEs who are trying to grow their business, who have just started their journey. How will they absorb the impact of this? How can they survive this? This is what has made us think, and this is what this panel will try to address today. So with that note, I will welcome the panel on the dais, Mr. Prashant Patsarji, who is the Managing Director from Srinar Electronics, our own Prabhu Bala sir, Regional Vice President IACC, Mr. Sriram Murthy, GM from Carlane Manufacturing. We want to make this a bit more interactive. Can we ask the audience to come forward so that we can try to implement that? I would request the audience to interrupt at any point of time. We'll ensure that the mic is here when the questions are asked. If at all you are having any examples in your own business which you have seen relating to this, you can talk about the story if you need to, right? So with that note, I will first become Mr. Prabhu Bala, Regional Vice President IACC, to speak and introduce, and then we'll talk with all the panel speakers, and then we'll start the questions. Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Very good evening. I represent Precision Equipments. We are a company into design and manufacturing of machineries which basically go into the oil and gas industry. So I would say energy sector. Been with the IACC for last 15 plus years and now part of the regional committee. Thank you.
Mr. Prashant Patsal.
Good evening. My name is Prashant. I represent a company called Srinath Electronics Private Limited, based out of Chennai. We make precision RF connectors for in the field of aerospace, defense, testing applications, medical and telecommunications. And we have been associated with IACC for the last 12 plus years. And I've been given this opportunity to discuss about the US supply chain opportunities and the challenges that the companies are facing today. Looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sriram.
Good evening, myself Sriram Ramamurthy. I represent the company Carlane Manufacturing. So we are an US based company based out of US. This is our 73rd year. So the India facility was started 5 years ago, and we make tooling elements for aerospace and industrial applications. So this is our 5th running year in India, and we are associated with IACC for the last 3 years, and we want to see another 70 years in the Asia region as well as since more aerospace manufacturing is moving here. So I'll be covering the topic on sustainability, so which we will be discussing going forward. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I try to create a set of questions, but I don't know whether I will stick specifically to that flow. But I'm trying to relate to the morning discussions we had, especially the talks by our minister, where we understood that the focus needs to be more on R&D, especially development of human knowledge, skills. We need to invest more on that. We know that in India, our key strength is our Indian brains, right? So, how can the companies leverage on talent, skills, and technology to provide a transformative opportunity to enhance the supply chain risks we have today? I think I will ask Prashant. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I'll answer this question in 3 parts, with giving some real-life examples of what we are facing right now in the industry, in the segment of aerospace defense. So I would say the first point that we have to take into account is the global compatibility center, the capability center, and I believe that we really have a very good talent pool of young, energetic engineers working in the field or the segments that we are in currently. And we also have very good access to this talent pool right from the previous topics which we discussed about how industries and universities can tie up and enable these kind of activities to promote the growth. And apart from this, digital transformation is something that plays a very vital role in the US-India supply chain. When we talk about the digital transformation, it is not only about digitizing our data, which we have in-house, but when it comes to workflow automations, the ERP automations. So the expectations from the US customer is they want reliability and transparency, and what they need the extensive forecast as to what we are planning to do. So they expect us to have a very flexible, adaptable workflow system, which is automated, which can be integrated into their existing ERP, SAP, or MRP systems. And the third one is, as you rightly just mentioned, we do invest and we do have to invest extensively in R&D, which will definitely enable, number one, for us to diversify the product range that we are currently developing with the existing customers as well as different industrial verticals. And this is a constant exercise that we have also been doing for the last 3-4 years with our existing customers, which actually helps in a cross-functional team exercise. This develops the talent pool, the product, and the class of products that we develop for exclusively for the aerospace and defense industries. So I would say we have to pay more attention to these 3 segments, which will definitely help us in achieving this.
Thank you. That reminds me, see the role of academia as well as early engagement of these people, the students. It plays a good role in making them industry ready. That plays a key part. I don't know whether there are any companies here who are using the SNAP scheme for recruiting apprentices.
We are
using them.
We are.
Okay. So if you utilize that effectively, it's a win-win situation for everybody. The students who are in engineering or in some technical degrees who are in the 3rd year or 4th year during those final years, they will start getting trained in the industry as well as they'll be studying. So they'll be able to relate what they are doing with what is happening in the industry, and their fresh and energetic minds, yes, they have, if we are able to tap into that effectively, we get a lot of ideas, lot of innovation comes from them. Their thinking is totally different. So that is something we are able to do effectively. I think industry should do more of that.
Absolutely. So when we compare the time from when I graduated, like 10-15 years back, we were given projects or use cases which were from textbooks. But I can see that from government polytechnic institutes to very high-ranking universities, the professors who actually take the class are actually industrial specialists. That gives a good amount of exposure to students right from the 3rd year or their final year, and the task assigned to them prepares them to what to expect when they enter the industrial world. So that definitely helps them in the long run.
Thank you very much. Right. So moving on, during all the disruptions we faced, there were some companies who were still able to effectively manage their business and ensure continuity. Are there any successful strategies or real life lessons where we saw this happening, and are there any advices to the team here, especially the MSMEs? My question would be to Prabhu Bala.
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And I can share one of my own real-time experience. I mean, we are an MSME company, a medium-scale company, not corporate, not small, medium-scale company. And when we started doing exports to the US, we started good. Our customer was based in Utah, and he said, your price is good, Prabhu, but the problem is delivery. Because it takes too long for goods to reach from Chennai to US, let's say Houston port. So almost 4 plus 4, 8 weeks in the sea. And they were saying that they're able to source from Mexico the same goods, little higher cost, definitely cost was not cheaper, but they could take it from Mexico within a week or 2. Now, how do we resolve this challenge? Because the lead time for manufacturing goods in Mexico versus in Chennai, it's all the same, right? Now, I have to fight against time, and time is not under our control. Whatever time it takes to ship, it is 8 weeks. You can't expedite shipment. This was a challenge. For me, it's like a very good customer. We had good sales every month. We spent a lot of time in R&D and product development. Now it is a challenge. I have to lose the customer because of the transportation issue. This when we decided, okay, why don't we start warehousing in the US? And we were a little worried that, MSME company, how do we start our company in the US? It's going to cost very high to, start a company, hire people. And that's when, some of my colleagues in IACC gave me an idea that, starting a company in the US it's just as simple. I mean, it's not very expensive. An MSME company can do a business in the US being a US company. So 3 years back, we started our company in the US, registered in the state of Houston. It's our sister company. And we had a warehouse, a third-party warehouse. And now we are stocking in the warehouse in Houston. And now we are able to beat Mexico in terms of delivery because Houston to Utah is much faster. So now we have the advantage of time an advantage of the cost as well. So now the business is back to us. And the good thing is, we had almost a month of stock during all this trade tariffs. So my customer is very happy. The stocks are still there. And hopefully things get settled down, then we should be able to start our supplies again. So that's a real-time example. So I urge every single MSME, to look into, how we can also start a company in the US. It's not that expensive. You can do third-party warehousing, and all the finances, we are handling from India. And as the business grows, you can have at least 1 or 2 people. Then that's how you start having your in-presence in the US. So that's an example I can cite.
Thank you, Prabhu Bala. While that is a very good example, some of the MSMEs might not be having enough resources to go and start a business directly in the US. So probably they can start with having a business relationship with a US subsidiary company having a presence in India. Even that, if it is difficult, probably a sub-supplier of their suppliers. We have got examples of suppliers who started as a sub-supplier of our main vendors, then they became the main vendors, then they became a global supplier. Throughout this journey, there were enough supporting hands whenever they encountered a problem, somebody to guide them during their each stage of the growth. So that is also one option we can think of. But when you are doing all these initiatives of putting together a warehouse there and doing that, was it your customer who was having a very understanding role there and supported you?
Yeah, the customers were also supportive because, for them, they need a good price and good delivery, which was available through this warehouse concept. And they also said, okay, we will also share some of the financial cost in warehousing in the US. So for them, it's, a win-win situation. So there was a good support from the customer. And when we decided to start this company in the US, we thought we should have our own people in the US. But it's not true. It's a third-party warehouse. There is nobody from Precision in the US right now. It's a third-party warehouse. Finance is all, done through banking online. You don't need to have somebody in the US to handle your finance. So everything is operated from India, but still you have your entity there and your warehousing there, and it's all insured, and everything can be taken care from India. It's not that you need to have a physical presence. That's a misconception, I would say. And this is the way you start. And we have been there for 3 years. Now we got our first employee recruited. And he is now based in Houston, so he is our first person, US citizen in Houston, first employee. Then hopefully, as we go, we would start increasing our manpower, and that's how start, being, doing some in-country value addition as well.
Thank you. Excellent. Moving on, my question would be to Mr. Sriram. There is a lot of talk about sustainability and our companies, how much they are supporting those initiatives. We ourselves faced an audit by an Italian customer who told us they want to audit us for ESG. We have not yet started that journey yet ourselves, and we expressed this to them, but they told us no worries, even though that acronym looks very complicated, some of them are basics which you should be doing already. So just go ahead with the audit and then we will explain you further. But when they started the audit, some of the questions they asked us was about salary of our own people, sharing those details, directly interviewing our employees. Many of those things happened. These were all like big changes from the way of working all these days. This needs a much higher level of transparency and ethical governance. So have you seen recently trends of sustainability getting greater importance and that being asked to be practically implemented in your business or in the areas you have seen?
Yeah. Just to give our own example, so we are an American company. We have a subsidiary in Chennai. So outside of US, Chennai is the only location. So we decided this back in 2015 when we were meeting the Boeing head of supply chain in Seattle. He told my CEO, if you have a future, go to India because we are there. So we said, okay. Then the next thing, he came out of that meeting and booked a ticket to Hyderabad, where Tata Boeing facility is. And he told him two things. One is, your supply chain should be there and your supply chain should be sustainable. And today what we do here is 80% of what it is done here is exported back to our parent company. Like it all starts with small things in the shop floor. We call, again, we are an engineering company where we say, like there is a PFAS chemical on the coolant of machine. We say that is measurable. Sustainable, it's just not, like an added cost. Actually, it drives us value and even cost reductions. Today we say, like many of the sustainability initiatives what we take, it giving us cost reductions. For example, we changed all the coolant oils to PFAS required material. They said thumbs up, and the cost is 25% less, and we have a sustainability score for that. Again, like you go by a certain standards on the plating stuffs what we do. We again getting, so all these are available in India wherever we go, even in the aerospace and the industrial supply chain. This is broadly practiced. Even we have a large supplier base where, like we go for sustainability stuffs checking out. And even we see at 15 or 20 crore companies where, like a colleague here, like youngsters studied in the US, come back and invest in India on the aerospace and industrial supply chain. They do have a lot of initiatives on the roadmap they show through. It's just not you are already following. It is about the mindset to take it forward. And it is not just the development of the supply chain what we are exporting, it's for our own country. Yeah, that is again another dimension to it. If you look at, like there is a terminology called wet bulb temperature. Many people don't know about it, because once it crosses 35 degrees Celsius, even you sweat in Chennai, it's not going to cool down your body. Like it is again highly environmentally impactable than dropping some chemical on the floor. Yeah. So like we see a lot of transformations in these supply chains. If you take across Tamil Nadu, you go across Karnataka, Maharashtra, Gujarat, again developing center again. So we see a sustainable development in these areas as well.
Thank you. And during the same audit, we faced a question of whether we are pushing this for implementation with our vendors as well. So that's going to be an ask going forward, I believe. But I don't see any much formal regulations happening in this regard, or any kind of.
What they basically say is, like when you sign a contract with an exporter, even at the vendor registration change, at that stage itself, they are very clear with a policy what they wanted to implement, even like what you are doing with your HR and how well you are compensating, or whether are you on par on the minimum wage. So these are catched at the vendor stage itself. Even we do it within Carlane, where we demonstrate to our end customers as well, saying how well we are supporting these initiatives wherever we supply to them in their supply chain, whether it is India or in Malaysia or to the US. So yeah, we do see this increasingly important, and also it is practiced as well.
Just a question: is there a way we differentiate from our competition? By doing GHG emissions and EcoVadis and all these things. Is there a way we differentiate from the competition, or?
Today it is a differentiator, but I would say the way it is moving, 2930, it will become a norm. So it will definitely become a norm. Even we see a lot of companies owning windmills, a lot of people putting in solar powers. Even we have large supply chains in Tirumudivakam Industrial Estate in Chennai, where like there are a lot of English companies who are suppliers for Rolls-Royce and GE are present there. The first thing they come, they put solar on the roof. As I said, it's not cost. They have continuous power to run their machines. Like they are sustainable, and that also helps them in on a long run, to even fastly recover the cost. Their operating costs are under control. As I said, it's just not sustainable and growth, it's also the cost factors as well.
And I like to add to a point. I mean, you said about coolants, we did some energy audit, and we found that, if we could switch into variable frequency drives for all our machines,
exactly,
we could save power. We did that, and we are saving power, and we are one step into the sustainability. I agree.
Probably you can continue there because you have background with the MSMEs, right? So big organizations, they might have the resources to manage this change, okay. But for say for textile manufacturing in our Tamil Nadu clusters, right? They are getting into organized sector now, but not many of them, right? But if the customer is a big business, and if they are under pressure to implement this, and if they come and ask these people, and if these people are not able to implement, will that mean a business concern for them? How are these MSMEs going to tackle this? Is there any way?
I think this is something, happening to every single MSMEs, when they want to do business abroad. The first thing is, have you complied with all these norms? And immediately they go in for certification, they get the certification, and then they say, okay, this is my certificate and I'm meeting the norms. But it is like, they call whitewash or greenwash. That's something, very wrong. And, it can be very, immediate relief for you to get that business. But in a long term, it's not sustainable. So I would recommend that, spending this little amount of money to evaluate, how much emissions you are doing. There are like scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3. And then getting into it definitely will help you on a long run. And, if you can really have those facts and figures, and, and people know, people know that, you cannot achieve this, overnight. Customers do appreciate. They all like to see your efforts. They don't want to insist on results that, you have to meet it. No, that's not their aim. They want to see that you have a sustained effort towards this. And if you can demonstrate that, then that's all they need. So that's a misconception that, immediately, we need to get the certification and, you have to show green. No, that's not. They are looking for sustainability and your sustained efforts.
Yeah, I agree with Prabhu, it's all the mindset they look at rather than have that in upfront. And it is not just the certificate, it's the practices. So that's being well appreciated by even the large OEMs who come for visits.
So to the audience, by the time we finish, you would be listening to whatever topics we are talking. We will be approaching you not just for the question and answer, but if you have your own stories related to that, please tell us so that we all can hear and benefit from that. Now moving on, my next question would be to both of you, right? Do you have any examples of we talked about being competitive, right? So any steps which you have taken in your own business to address being competitive, but at the same time being impacted by the disruptions what we talked about?
So being competitive is something that our customers always look forward for. They always keep pushing us to the limits to see if we have the right intentions, to see if we have the motivation to get the things done. So in terms of competitiveness, we, like the earlier point that you mentioned, we constantly work with our supply chain down to our tier 1, tier 2 suppliers to also educate them on what is happening on the other side of the table with our customers, so that awareness will enable us to be competitive with our customers, and we would look forward for that support from our supply chain. So this not only applies to the exotic materials that we're using for our products, but also in terms of the right tools, the right machines, the right measurement technologies, constant technology upgradations that we keep doing to make sure that in a long run we are able to sustain with respect to cost, and also at the same time remain competitive when it especially comes to competing with the companies in China, from where we have seen in the last 6 to 8 months, my company has got close to 4 to 5 different US customers within a very short span of time, who already has a base in China, but they're looking for customers in India because we have that competitive advantage, and we are striving towards always to meet their requirements or exceed it.
I can just add my experience. India, of course, people come to India because we are a low-cost country, right? And this is not going to last forever. Our costs are increasing. For example, if somebody would have come to Radisson Blu here and had lunch 5 years before, how much you would have paid and how much you would pay now, right? So the cost is increasing, in India, and soon we will be an expensive country. So MSMEs have to invest on automation That's something very important. Otherwise, we're going to lose our competitive edge. So investing on automation, I would say, frugal automation, not expensive automation. Frugal automation really helps MSMEs to stay competitive. And this investment is to sustain your business. And today you're happy, you have very low cost manpower, but this manpower cost is going to increase. It's going to be. That's one of my US customers said. When they look at China, how the cost went up. He said, the cost went up in China over the period of 10 years. But he said, caution. In India, it's going to go much faster. So the cost is going to rise much faster than what happened in China. So he said, if you don't automate right now, if you're in luxury of manpower, and if you don't automate now, then you're going to face the problem. So start wisely, start automation, invest on it. That's what his advice. And we took his advice, we did some automation, and we are able to now look at almost 50% of our process getting automated. Of course, more than 50, it's a little tough, but in our industry, but still there was scope. Initially, we thought there was no scope. People said, no, it's not possible. But, it is possible. So you have to invest that time and money, and that's the only way, you can survive the competition.
Yeah, I agree. Even we are in aerospace industry. Aerospace, especially we are in tooling industry, which helps to build a plane. We really don't, we don't make flying parts. But which is again, to automate is very difficult. We would say almost impossible. And why? Because people are scared first, because they don't want to make anything wrong, because the one mistake could cost us billions. We all know what has happened in Ahmedabad. So they say automation is utmost impossible. But if you look at Indian supply chain, today there are hardly about 15 to 16 tool makers based out of Chennai, Bangalore and Pune, who are in this aerospace tool building business, who are related with Boeing, Lockheed, Airbus supply chain. But very smartly, 40% of the job what they do is automated. They have seen this long before. They say, okay, they are basically from automotive, working in US, working in Europe, come back to India and invested their money in. They are not big companies. We are talking of 30 to 50 crore band companies. But they very smartly come up with the day one say, I am 40% automating it, so that, this industries have moved from US to Europe, then Europe to Asia, to some other countries. Now it has come to India. They say, we are not allowing this out of India. So that's their vision. So I completely agree. Even in places where we say automation is impossible, still our Indian minds want to automate it.
You both read my mind, because I was going to ask from an MSME perspective, how are we going to tackle that? Because the customers who are getting additional charges because of this trade policies, all those things, they are going to come back and they start negotiating with these MSMEs, because they are the most vulnerable group, right? And they might even not have the needed skills for counter arguing or making another offer or something like that. So yes, the automation, those kind of things make sense, but at the same time, he told a point, automation needs capital, more investment. Whether MSMEs will have the bandwidth to do that and go to the stretch levels to do that. Are there any other better strategies which will go along with this as well? So probably
No, that is
to all of you, and open to audience afterwards.
This is actually a classic mindset. I mean, we always, in the mindset of manufacturing, when you look at, MSME industries, so we are always looking into manufacturing. So manufacturing is so good for us. In manufacturing, we don't spend time in R&D or, and in terms of, spending, working with the institutions, working with the research labs to do some investment on automation. And if we have that mindset, if we spend some amount of our profitability into that, it is just a change in mindset. And if you start doing it the first year and seeing benefit, then you would start investing into it. So, I would say, start talking to the industry, institutes, a lot of institutes in and around Chennai. There are very young minds. We talked about internship programs, and those are the ways, MSMEs can start exploiting this path.
To the point, so when you're challenged, that's when the best of your brains come out, right? With the innovations, Indian jugards, those kind of things. So let's hope we will be able to tackle that. Again, picking up from there, collaboration between our customers, manufacturers, the logistics service providers. These are all the key. Every paisa or rupee saved there, when it is in a big scale, translates into big savings as well, right? So how can collaboration between the stakeholders in the business enhance supply chain for export-ready companies? Over to you.
So again, so we have manufactured the parts. Again, getting it from here to the end customer. Again, yes, we have a lot of we say it is just a sea, but underneath it is the big world. Again, so it's very important because from here to the US, we are talking of 8-10 weeks. Then ahead of that, we have to have a manufacturing lead time. Then ahead of that is you have to get an order from your customer. So typically this planning works 6-9 months in advance, where where your entire supply chain is there, and then out of all that, when it reaches US, everything should be fine. We say, there is no surprises when opening the box. So it starts here and ends there. It's challenging, but with technologies today, we could able to get it. Even what we manufacture in India, as a personal example, about 85% of our toolings are exported to the States to our parent company. Yes, we have a very dedicated sourcing, so that's important. Treat your supplier, support them, because the materials are exorbitant. It's not available. There are a lot of special processes, but these resources are available in India. Even you go to heat treatment, it is available. If you go to special plating processes, it's available. So work with them on a partnership basis. So that's important again. Then next comes, manufacturing this, understand their capacity, understand your own internal capacity, and plan these things out. And the next comes the shipping and your alignment on inspections. Even sometimes we say the temperature in India is much different to temperature what we measure in the US, where we are in aerospace parts, the tolerance is 6 microns, and there is a difference of 3 between us. So each and every bit makes sense here.
Yeah, I mean, that's something interesting what you said, and I like to add upon. So the material, we use quality materials, we have the best talents in the world. But most of the industries, I mean, again, I would refer back to MSMEs, we do good exports. When we use the right material, we use the right talent, we are excellent in engineering, but we do very poor packing. Poor packing and poor, presentation to the customer. I had one of my own experience. We did an export to the US, and luckily, we spent a lot of money on packing. So I was in the customers, receiving stores. And of course, there were equipments from South Korea, China, and equipment from our company. And our company's equipment was not unpacked, but I could see the Chinese were unpacked, the South Koreans were unpacked. And I was wondering, why did not they unpack my equipment? And this quality guy said, "Sir, your packing is so good. I think it's a quality product." So so that's the impression. So we spend a lot of money on manufacturing, but we do very poor packing and presentation. That's something I like to add.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of things. Even we say for steel exporters, where you don't make any surface protection on it, we say the simple one is a VCI bag. It's a question of 3 cents, but the difference what they make when it get there, especially MSME companies where your shipment value is like $100,000, and you are a $1 million company, when it gets rejected there, then that's a chances of getting blown up. Yeah. So this could be small, but it makes a lot of difference. And we also say, work with professional logistic companies, where you are much sure of your consignment than a little cost which could add to your bottom line. That is very minimal. When one mistake happens, then everything goes up. And there are very attractive product liability insurances which are available. So right from you pick up from your factory all the way it reaches the end customer, even you have product liability when something happens in between. So even those are all the non-written protection clauses which MSME can look at when they approach American customers.
Another dimension here is the lead times. Picking on that, 10 weeks or 12 weeks. Added to that, you see your raw material lead time. Okay, and if you are making a standard product, that is fine. But when your product has got lot of variations, where you configure them according to your customer needs, predicting these variations in the exact accuracy that much time before is a big problem, especially for the MSMEs. They may not be able to afford planning that kind of inventory variations and all. So that is going to add a complexity for them. How will they be able to tackle this?
Yeah, one is, we always call it an inventory model, but that inventory model may always not drive results. So we always say, protect yourself by materials. And then, you have a little agile manufacturing within your factory. That's where automation and other thing comes into play, where you can able to respond to your customer needs in a timely fashion. So that we still remain competitive. For example, our own friends from China, we say, okay, we give this order, but it is only yearly once, because aerospace there is no volume. The minimum, we say one. So even if they ask one, we have to do it. So that's again becomes a complexity. But still, companies here in India are ready for it. What we would say is get with your material ready and build up your capacity, and invest on your internal automation, and even with your suppliers have flexibility in your machinery. And always we say, if you are outsourcing it, do the differentiated processes in-house. Don't give a differentiated processes outside. Source the standard ones and do the differentiated tough one by yourself. So that, by this way we are investing in R&D and others know-how within the company. And also we are responding to the supply chain, and also we are not putting the risk on the complexity outside your building.
Thank you. Excellent.
And to add that, when you have things like this, where there is, so much of variance in your supplies, and, you're not able to leverage your supply chain. When for those customers, you have to pick some of those supply chain companies, your suppliers, and make them your business partners. Yeah. So you sell them a story and make them your partners, and you go together and then, talk to the customer. That's how, you link the entire thing. And then this one company, which is being your supplier, becomes your business partner. And that's how, we can, he gives priority to your production, and then, that's how you build the product and sell it to your customer.
And I think that's the direction we want all the companies to take. Though not just see the MSMEs as a vendor to you people, help them grow so that they'll be together with you for your journey. And I hope this buyer-seller meet, what we have today here, will pave the path for all these things. I saw a lot of enthusiasm happening down there. Now, I think considering the time constraints, we will open the floor for audience to pose any questions or tell any stories you have relating to the subjects what we talked. Yes, sir.
I have a question to Mr. Sriram Ramurthy regarding the localization of materials. You're exporting your tools to the Boeing, US and all those things. How about the raw material part of it? You're importing from other countries, or the metals also have been localized in India? And it's a completely local which has been exported to the US. How it's been done now?
So today what we do is completely procured in India.
Oh, great.
Even up to the level of DFRAS compliant, where we call it DFRAS compliant means these minerals has to be from the DFRAS compliant countries, which is only 27 countries in the world, which about 90% of them sits in Europe, and the rest is US and Canada. But all these exorbitant materials are available in India as well.
Yeah, so you were saying about that the requirements are very low, and so in case of any process related things which needs to be done, so how's the investment been adjusted towards the quantities manufactured or things like that, for example, heat treatment or any process related to the part manufacturing?
Like on the heat treatment front, again, on the aerospace supply chain, we have lot of sources around Bangalore, where you can have special, like high temperature vacuum furnaces are there, and you want any deep cooling to be done on your parts to stop expansion, that is again available. And if you want any sintered grades material which needs to be treated, again, facilities are available in Bangalore and Hyderabad for the post finishing. So all the supply chain are well within in India. You don't need to invest on everything in house. So especially for special processes, suppliers are available within our country, and we are well geared up. See, considering the Tata Advanced Systems program for C295, where they are making the Airbus aircraft entirely in India, where it is assembled in Hyderabad and the final assembly takes place in Vadodara. With this supply chain, they have built an entire ecosystem for further projects. With this only, they have taken the Rafael as well, where they are going to build the fuselage in Hyderabad. So the entire ecosystem is built, including materials, special processes, heat treatment. Like even there is a company in MEPS called PMI. So they are big suppliers for Collins Aerospace. So they have close to about 120 odd VMCs, HMCs and combination. And they make, with that volume, they make in-house, like the special kind of impregnation layer on the top of materials where they fly. So all these ecosystems are available in India, sir.
Thank you very much. And one question from Mr. Prabhuram. See, you said you're exporting to the US. So what was your gestation period from your start of marketing to converting into a real business? So how much time did it take for you?
So our business is predominantly with the oil and gas industries, and these are mostly Chevron and Exxons of the world. So it took little amount of time for us to get into business, but of course, a sustained approach to them, and then getting that first breakthrough business, and then ensuring that you do that with a great success, and that's how we do it. So for us, it took at least 3 years to break into that market.
Yeah, and always we say start small and go from there, especially for MSMEs. We even say if it is a $50,000 business, pursue it, do a great job, and then bet for the next. It's very ambitious as we are energetic here, but when we go through the process, that's where the pain starts. So we always say start small and then grow from there.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Good evening, sir. This is Satish Kumar. Yeah, I am coming from Coimbatore. So we are dealing with the food-based product actually. So we are manufacturing of palm leaf products and exporting to US and Europe. And presently we have a concern that our product is being under the import alert. I mean, our product cannot be exported to US due to some leaching issue with the product. So I need a forum to approach this issue with the US bodies.
So I would say, we have our office here in Chennai, and definitely you can talk to our office. People are here, and definitely we can help you and direct you to the right forum to represent this. I mean, we have handled issues like this in the past for several companies, companies like yours. And in fact, in our EC team and as well as the South India Council, we have people who are already into the food business. Yes. So you're not the only one, and probably they would have seen this problem before. So the problem, what they had, and the solution, what we would have given, would apply for you as well. So we welcome you to come and talk to us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. If no other questions, I think we will conclude. Thank you very much for being with us. The network of various companies and the people and their skills and their expertise will definitely help you, and we request all the MSMEs to actively participate in our events and benefit from that. With that note, thanks to all the panel speakers here. It was a pleasure talking to you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think it was a very enlightening session. I would request our committee member, Ms. Geeta, to come and give mementos to all the panelists and the moderators of the session. chairman to join. Just want to hand over